So here we are gazing upon the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, a series that Samsung continues to improve upon year on year and craft truly excellent smartphones. It's just hitting the market though at completely the wrong time. But let's first dive in. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and enable notifications with the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. When it comes to the physical shape and dimensions of the Galaxy Note series, Samsung has always gone for a more boxy industrial design. In recent years that's meant keeping curved edges on the display, having sharpish corners on all four sides, and pulling some basic design ideas from the Galaxy S lineup that debuts earlier in the year. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra does exactly that again. It takes an unapologetically big size of the Galaxy S20 Ultra and its huge camera bump and squares off the corners and rounds off the display. On paper, it sounds weird, but in practice it actually looks pretty gorgeous in person. It's also helped by that new Mystic Bronze colour, which is simple, refined and unique, all at the very same time. It also has a slick matte coating that properly hides fingerprint smudges and the constant build-up on the back of glossy glass phones. Although if you opt for a black or white option, you're stuck with a glossy fingerprinty finish. Really, the Note 20 Ultra's hardware is just a matter of if you love it, you really love it. If you hate curved displays, well sorry, but you can't actually deny this is a really striking design, especially thanks to that display. The front of the Note 20 Ultra houses a massive 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED QHD Plus display. It's sharp, it's vibrant, and it has super slim bezels that make you feel like you're basically holding only at a screen. Put simply, this is perhaps the best smartphone display on any phone to date. Samsung is absurdly good at making smartphone panels at this point, and the Note 20 Ultra just reinforces that point. It also has a 120Hz refresh rate, which makes every interaction feel effortlessly smooth. Samsung is also debuting an adaptive refresh rate display on this phone that changes the refresh rate depending on what you're doing to help save battery life. In practice, we've never really been able to actually notice the change in day-to-day use. Compared to the S20 Plus, it really does feel as though there is a noticeable impact on battery life for the positive here. Curved displays are a cruel mistress after all, as they look good but do obstruct overall usability. Unfortunately, the S20's flat display is a distant memory here, and while it looks nice, it is annoying to say the least. On top of that, the Note 20 is also using the same ultrasonic fingerprint sensor which was nestled under the AMOLED display that it had since the S10 in 2019. It's still not as fast as a capacitive sensor or a speedy optical in-display one, but it seems to work far better, possibly thanks to optimizations and software enhancements. In terms of software, Samsung's One UI on the Note 20 Ultra is bumped up to version 2.5, which runs genuinely like a dream. One UI has become a clean, reasonably refined Android skin that has tons and tons of under-the-hood features that many people will love, and of course some people will detest, but we're light years away from TouchWiz frustration here. A couple of notable improvements in One UI 2.5 include the Samsung Notes apps, which now include the ability to export your handwritten notes to PDF, OneNote, Word, and even other file types, as well as converting them to plain text for sharing wherever you want. Samsung can also straighten out your notes to make it easier to read. It's legitimately impressive stuff that makes the S Pen a very valuable tool for getting things done for a subsection of users out there. On top of that, Samsung is also supercharging DeX on the Note 20 Ultra by making it go wireless. Presumably coming to other phones eventually, DeX on Note 20 works completely wirelessly. All you have to do is just tap the icon and the Note will search for nearby smart TVs that are compatible. That even includes just about every smart TV from the past few years, including those uber popular TCL Roku TVs and Roku set-top boxes too. This works shockingly well, though the performance depends on your connection and hardware on top of that. I wouldn't expect to use it for games, except maybe with a controller, but it'll do the trick well for sharing pictures or slideshows from an app on your phone. Samsung's software also delivers a ton of other features that are just hard to not find useful day to day. Scrolling screenshots, built-in screen recorders, a pop-out app resizing, and more features that I don't even get on my own Pixel 4 XL, and are really sometimes kind of useful on this large canvas. It's not all roses though, as there are some bad points with One UI, as Samsung is starting to get ridiculous with advertisements. There are some push notifications that arrive trying to get you to buy other Samsung gear or devices even after you've spent $1,300 on a smartphone. It's not all too frequent, but it is annoying nonetheless. Minor software gripes aside, this is easily one of the fastest smartphones we've used this year. That killer performance is thanks to the Snapdragon 865 Plus and 12GB of RAM. The beefed up processor though is only slightly more powerful than the 865 delivers in the S20 earlier this year, but the Note 20 feels even faster than that should allow for. Samsung must have done some serious optimization in the background, because this feels like the company's fastest smartphone to date by a complete long shot. The unfortunate asterisk on that performance though is that Samsung is only using Qualcomm chips in some regions. You'll get the Snapdragon 865 Plus in the US, but overseas in Europe and some other global regions we're stuck with the Exynos 990. That's still a fine, capable chip, but the differences in performance and battery life are real. Considering this phone even costs more in regions with that less impressive chip, a lot of Note users are feeling justifiably shortchanged with this device. We can't talk about Note and forget about the S Pen though, the stylus that gives the Galaxy Note line its name and frankly its following. With the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, Samsung's S Pen is making its biggest leap in years, and it's something that will tempt most Note owners to get this device. That upgrade comes in the form of latency, which has been reduced to 9 milliseconds. That's the same latency as the Apple Pencil, which has been seen as the gold standard for a little while now. In practice, this is simply a treat with latency that low. Made in part by the 120Hz display, the human eye can't see that gap between the pen and the on-screen line it happens to draw. It's impressive to say the least, and really helps sell the illusion that you're actually using a real pen on your display. As for cameras, Samsung has managed to address most complaints levelled at the S20 series cameras and created what might just be the best overall smartphone camera on the market. To recap though, you get a 108 megapixel primary shooter, 12 megapixel ultra wide camera and 12 megapixel periscope zoom lens. That primary sensor was a disaster on the S20 Ultra, but some optimization and the arrival of a new laser autofocus system on the Note has helped deliver a primary camera that can better compete with the likes of Google and Apple. Shots from this sensor outdoors are simply stunning, at least in most scenarios. The shots are detailed and have vivid colours that aren't overdone like Samsung often has a tendency to do. The new autofocus system helps Samsung fix the dreadful issues that plagued the same sensor on the S20 Ultra 2. That just shows Samsung is actually listening to complaints from its users and these reviews. Beyond the primary camera, the zoom and ultra-wide sensors help round off a killer shooting experience. Ultra-wide shots are still of solid quality, and the 5x optical zoom can produce some really good shots that simply software alone can't. Head past that point with caution though, as things quickly fall apart afterwards, especially when hitting that 50x limit. Samsung also deserves credit for video quality here too. Stabilization is great and clarity is really good. For Android, this is perhaps the best video quality we've seen. Samsung has also extended the extensive Pro mode that allows users to adjust settings they might like with a proper video camera. The most exciting part, however, is the ability to use a pair of Bluetooth headphones as a microphone remotely. For a generation obsessed with TikTok and YouTube, that's a genuinely useful feature that might come in handy in the future. As for battery longevity, the 4500 mAh battery in this phone is pretty much fine. It easily lasts a day with around 3 to 4 hours of screen on time, and by bedtime we usually have around 40 to 50% remaining with those figures. For low or middling users, this could easily be a 2-day device, but we'd bet that most people out there will find the Note to be a 1-day device for them. It'll probably last till the end of the day, but if you're an especially heavy user, it may not even last that long, especially as we've been hearing the Exynos version lasts considerably shorter, which is something important to note here. On the bright side though, fast charging is still around. The 45 watt spec from the Note 10 is gone, but 25 watt charging over USB-C on board with a fast charger in the box and wireless charging also joins the package. There's also reverse wireless charging for giving some power to your accessories, but given the not so stellar power pack, this isn't going to be used by everyone out there. So in essence, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is genuinely a great phone. Arguably it's Samsung's best phone to date. With a $1,300 price tag, it's not a totally insane ask either given the package, though let's be real, few phones are actually worth over $1,000. However, we think the biggest problem is that this just isn't the right time for a phone this expensive to be hitting the market. And the proof is everywhere, including the terrible 60% sales dip from the S10 to the S20, when you can grab affordable devices for a fraction of the cost, but with more than a fraction of the experience, then the Note 20 Ultra is a hard sell, albeit an exceptional smartphone. That said, if you do choose to pick the Note 20 Ultra up, you're getting what could very well be the best Android phone out there, and you definitely won't be disappointed. But at this point I think I've rambled on too much. What do you think? Will you pick up this Samsung Superphone or go for something cheaper entirely? Let us know down in the comment section below. But as always, this is Damien with 9to5Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.